Howdy folks, Nathan here, and I am at the Advanced Clean Transportation Expo in Anaheim, California. I've got my press pass on, and I've got a massive map. We're at the Anaheim Convention Center, and I'm gonna take you through a walk around of this entire event. Hyundai has been absolutely killing it with hydrogen powertrains. They've been on it. Directly competitive, I would say, with Toyota, among others. And this is their newest offering. They have this one opened up so you can see the hydrogen storage tanks.
Well, this is the Exient fuel cell tractor, 6x4. This is the new refreshed model, which has some new ADAS features, some slight changes to the fuel cell system, giving it a little bit more power, a little bit more, well, improved durability. The previous version of this truck was already commercially available, so we have a couple operations that are big, one up in Northern California, one in Georgia, where we're running 30 and 20 of these trucks respectively.
Okay.
All right, so let's start walking around the vehicle itself. All right, so kind of conventional rear end. This is stuff you'll normally see. There's a 5-speed transmission attached to the electric motor up there.
Okay.
I can't really see it under the cab from this perspective, but drive shaft runs back, 6x4 axles, all the stuff you'd normally expect. This one's on air suspension. This is where it's going to start getting different. So this is all the hydrogen storage on board. So this is at 70 bar, and we're carrying just under 70 kilograms. It's about 68.
Okay.
And that's good for 400 to 450 miles of real-world range, depending on what kind of trailer you're towing.
Gotcha.
I'd say 400 at like 82,000 pounds, which is the max allowable since we've got an electric drive. That's what you ought to expect.
I understand. Okay, great.
And then you can kind of, we don't have, so this is a forward cab vehicle. We don't have the cab tilted right now, but if you kind of peek back in here, you can see the tops of these fuel cell stacks.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Let's see if I can get that on the camera.
Yeah.
Fish in there.
So there are 2 stacks in this truck, 85 kilowatt net each. And those are powering, how familiar is your audience with fuel cells?
Actually,
right?
you'd be surprised. Yeah.
All right, good, cool. So those 2 stacks are powering all the batteries, which are behind this panel here. And there's all the high voltage electronics are right here. So stacks powering the battery, Bauer's powering the electric motor. Electric motor is 350 kilowatt, so that's what you're getting out.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then, I'm trying to think what else I should be hitting on high points. So I should point out a couple of the newer features on this one. This one, we've added ADAS, so forward collision warnings and automatic emergency braking. Side object detection, smart cruise control, basic features that we're adding for this model.
I saw the cockpit. It looks like that was updated as well. Slightly larger screen, more cup holders, stuff like that. More better driver comfort, I would imagine.
We already had, I think, a really good quality of life for the driver, and it just got better.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And when does this go into production?
So this one is, let's see, did we announce start production for this? I think it's already available.
Open. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I know that so previous iteration is currently commercially available. I believe we're looking at so model year 26 will be this vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So our sales team will be,
The sales team will have the official answer. On that.
I totally get you.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here is this is an upgrade from the previous model in many measurable ways. And in addition, I would imagine that you are expanding your footprint using this. You have challengers from Toyota and other automakers, obviously. So you guys, this is kind of prodding everybody to up their game.
Exactly. And I think it's a continuation. The previous model was a real product, getting real miles on the road already, and this is expanding that, as you said.
Outstanding. Some of these charges are starting to look like slot machines. Okay, let's continue. So recently, Bright Drop and General Motors came to a consensus that they're going to sell these vans as General Motors vans. which probably makes sense and will probably increase their sales. It's actually a really nice layout for an interior. Lots of air conditioning vents on both sides. All the controls are up here for the basics, and then fairly good sized screen. I was told by somebody, I think it was a FedEx, yeah, he was a FedEx driver, that driving these is really awesome and he loved it. Would love to give it a try one day. Okay, let's have a look at Penske real quick. It's another company, Aurora, Blue Arc EV. There's just so many, there's hundreds. Ah, remember I mentioned Chevrolet and I totally blew it? This time I think I got it right. Here's General Motors right around the corner. Oh boy. So we'll go over there. And to be fair, General Motors has been on top of their game when it comes to electrification, at least with their cars and light duty trucks. And then of course their van, their Bright Drop, which, oh, there's another one right over there. And like them or not, some of the vehicles, like the Silverado EV, have crazy range potential. It's like over 400 miles. Yeah, look at that.
Okay. You count me.
492 miles. Now bear in mind that Andre has thoroughly tested these trucks. They're remarkably expensive, but they're also really cool, and it's something similar to an Avalanche. At least some of them are. I think that the higher trim ones are the ones that have the central section that drops, so the firewall drops and gives you tons of space, like the old Chevy Avalanche. Here's another Bright Drop. This is one of the smaller ones.
You want to make sure your plate is up and running.
I think it would be a really cool RV if they could extend the range, or put a range extender in it, as we've all talked about before. Oh, pardon me. Yeah. 272 miles with the small one. I would imagine that's under partial load. Not 100% sure. Hey, there's another one. Okay. Wow. Well, guys, we still haven't even made it to Ford, but we're really creeping up on timing out with this. There's just so much to cover, and I hate the fact that there's dead air with me walking around trying to figure out what to cover for you. I'm hoping that at least getting some camera on some of these booths gives you guys an idea of the enormity of this event, and frankly how many people are here. It's definitely starting to get more crowded as time moves on. Let's move a little bit further down. I haven't even made a half circle yet. All right, let's a little bit further. Here's more, oh, this is pretty cool. Watt EV. Finally, there's Ford. This was going to be my stopping point, so I think I finally made it. So here's Ford Pro. We've done quite a bit with Ford, talking with Ford about Ford Pro and their setup. And there's a couple cool things about them, and I'm sure other automakers do this as well. I'm only familiar with Ford system because they were one of the few automakers that actually spent the time to talk to a caveman like me about it. So it's more than just electrification of their trucks. And they do have an F-150 Lightning, they do have their Transit, and it looks like they have chargers. They have a little symposium going on over here later on, I'm sure. The thing about the Ford Pro system is that it's also a program. It's hardware and software. And what it allows you to do is track your vehicles if you have a fleet, and you're able to monitor everything they're doing. How much power they're using, how much power they used, their range, their stops, what they need, when they need it, the whole 9 yards. There you go, guys. I covered not even half of this show, because I mean, there's an entire section over there. This entire pavilion is really cut up in several smaller pavilions all connected together. So you have a lot of booths. And in order to make sure that this broadcast didn't take that long, I had to cut through an awful lot. And I really regret that, because there's so much to cover here. But I'll tell you what, we're gonna try to get, there's a place out there where you can do a ride and drive with some of their electric vehicles, like big rigs. We're gonna try to get one of those in a separate video that might go on TFL Truck or TFL EV or TFL Now or any number of our channels. And I can indeed recommend for professionals a show like this, because it isn't just about, you know, hugging trees and saving the earth. It's also about finding ways of making your company a little bit more efficient and saving you money in the long run, which is what a lot of this technology is about. Hydrogen technology, unlike just electric technology, definitely has a future. That's obvious if you look at the fact that Toyota, Honda, General Motors, Hyundai are serious about it and have invested billions of dollars to build these trucks that are already up and running. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you later.